Good morning. Welcome to my channel. Today is the 12th of February 2021. And I'm doing this for the third time today. So, when did the tradition of exchanging Valentine's gifts start? The oldest recorded written Valentine dates back to a poem written by Charles, Duke of Orleans in 1415. He wrote to his wife while imprisoned in the Tower of London. In the U.S., exchanging Valentines is thought to have started in the 1700s. But in 1840, the tradition really took off with Massachusetts-based artist Esther A. Howland, known as the Mother of Valentine. She made holiday-themed greeting cards with lace, ribbon, and colorful pictures. The dark origins of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a time to celebrate romance and love and kissy face reality. But the origins of this festival of candy and cupids are actually dark and bloody and a bit muddled. Am I keeping you in suspense? Though no one has pinpointed the exact origin of the holiday, one good place to start is ancient Rome. Where men hit on women by hitting them. From 13th to 15th of February, Romans celebrated the feast of Lupercalia. The men sacrificed a goat and a dog, then whipped the woman with the hide of the animals that had just been slain, dipped it in blood. The Roman romantics were drunk. They were naked. Says Noah Lansky, a historian at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Young women would actually line up for the men to hit them, Lansky says. They believed this would make them fertile. We have something like that at Easter, when on Easter Monday, the men come and sprinkle the girls with ice cold water from the well. It's not pleasant. It's cold. They're supposed to make them fertile and keep them fresh and beautiful all year long. I don't know, it keeps them getting pneumonia and cold and very wet. But anyway, okay, so they did that to keep the women fertile. It was important to have lots of babies because babies died, unfortunately, you know. The brutal feat included a matchmaking lottery. Now listen to this. Young men drew the names of women from a jar. Can you imagine if my name was in a jar and some young man pulled an old woman's? Oh, let me tell you. The couple would then be coupled up for the duration of the festival, or longer if the match was right. The ancient Romans may also be responsible for the name of our modern day of love. Emperor Claudius II executed two men, both named Valentine, on February 14th of different years in the 3rd century AD. Maybe he didn't like the date 14th, I don't know. Their martyrdom was honored by the Catholic Church with the celebration of Saint Valentine's Day. Later, Pope Gelasius I muddled things up, you know, in the 5th century by combining St. Valentine's Day with Lupercalia, the pagan ritual. But the festival was more of a theatrical interpretation of what it once been. Lansky adds, it was a little more of a drunken revel, but the Christians put clothes back on it. That didn't stop it from being a day of fertility and love. Around the same time, the Normans celebrated Galantine's Day. Galantin meant lover of women. That was likely confused with St. Valentine's Day at some point, in part because they sound alike. The tradition of exchanging Valentine's Day dates back to a poem written by Charles, Duke of Orleans in 1415. He wrote to wife while imprisoned in the Tower of London. In the U.S., exchanging Valentines is thought to have started in the 1700s, but in 1840, the tradition really took off with Massachusetts-based artist Esther A. Howland, known as the Mother of Valentine. She made holiday-themed greeting cards with lace, ribbons, and colorful pictures. In Hungary, they just started recently to have Valentine's Day. Before it was called Valentine's Day, but now they have taken over the Western celebration of Valentine's Day with gifts, cards, chocolate, the whole bit. You know. What is the legend of Saint Valentine? The history of Valentine's Day and the story of its patron saint is shrouded in mystery. We do not know that February has long been celebrated as a month of romance, and that St. Valentine's Day, as we know it today, contains vestiges of both Christian and ancient Roman traditions. But who was St. Valentine, and how did he become associated with this ancient rite? I prefer the little baby Cupid. He's cute. The Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine or Valentinus, all of whom were martyred. One legend contends that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome, when Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families. He outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. Still, others insist that it was Saint Valentine of Terni, a bishop, who was the true namesake of the holiday. He too was beheaded by Claudius II outside Rome. I don't know why. Claudius was against love. Okay. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed by attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, one imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting to himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly the jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed, "From your Valentine," an expression that is still in use today. Although the truth behind the Valentine legends is murky, the stories all emphasize his appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, and most importantly, romantic figure. By the Middle Ages, perhaps thanks to his reputation, Valentine would become one of the most popular saints in England and France. While some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death or burial, which probably occurred around after death 270, others claim that the Christian Church may have decided to place Saint Valentine's feast in the middle of February in an effort to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia. Celebrated at the Ides of February or 15th of February, Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as to the Roman founders Romulus and Remus. They were the twins. To begin the festival, members of the Luperci, an order of Roman priests, would gather at a sacred cave where infants, Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or lupa. The priests would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. They would then strip goat's hide into strips, dip them into the sacrificial blood, and take to the streets, gently slapping both women and crop fields with the goat hide. Far from being fearful, Roman women welcomed the touch of the hides because it was believed to make them more fertile in the coming year. Later in the day, according to legend, all the young women in the city would place their names in a big urn. That leaves me out. The city's bachelors would each choose a name and become paired for the year with his chosen woman. These matches often ended in marriage. Yes, I'm a romantic. Lupercalia survived the initial rise of Christianity, but was outlawed, as it was deemed unchristian at the end of the 5th century when Pope Gelasius declared February 14th St. Valentine's Day. It was not until much later, however, that the day became definitely associated with love. During the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February 14th was the beginning of birds' mating season, which added to the idea that the middle of Valentine's Day should be a day for romance. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romantic celebration in his 1375 poem, Parliament of Fools. Writing for this quote, "For this was sent on Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate," end of quote. Valentine greetings were popular as far back as the Middle Ages, though written valentines didn't begin to appear until 1400. The oldest known valentine still in existence today was a poem written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London. Following his capture at the Battle of Agincourt, the greeting is now part of the manuscript collection of the British Library of London, England. Several years later, it was believed that King Henry V hired a writer named John Lydgate to compose a Valentine note to Catherine of Valois. Who is Cupid? Our cute little angel. Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a naked cherub launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers. But the Roman god Cupid has his roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. Accounts of his birth vary. Some say he is the son of Nyx and Erebus, others of Aphrodite and Ares. Still others suggest he is the son of Iris and Zephyrus, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been both his father and grandfather. Didn't stop the gods. According to the Greek archaic poets, Eros was a handsome immortal, played with the emotions of gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and leaden ones to sow aversion. Be careful of the arrows. It wasn't until the Hellenistic period that he began to be portrayed as the mischievous, chubby child he became on Valentine's Day cards. In addition to the United States, Valentine's Day is celebrated in Canada, Mexico, the United Kingdom, France and Australia, and in Hungary. In Great Britain, Valentine's Day began to be popularly celebrated around the 17th century. By the middle of the 18th century, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection or handwritten notes. And by 1900, printed cards began to replace written letters due to improvements in printing technology. Ready-made cards were an easy way for people to express their emotions in a time when direct expression of one's feelings was discouraged. Cheaper postage rates also contributed to an increase in the popularity of sending Valentine's Day greetings. Americans probably began exchanging handmade valentines in the early 1700s. In the 1840s, Esther A. Howland began selling the first mass-produced valentines in America. Howland, known as the mother of the Valentine, made elaborate creations with real lace, ribbons, and colorful pictures known as scrap. So this is from where called scrapping. Today, according to the Greeting Card Association, an estimated 145 million Valentine's Day cards are sent each year, making Valentine's Day the second largest card sending holiday of the year. More cards are sent than at Christmas. So I wish you a Valentine's Day filled with love, presents, mostly hugs, kisses, and love. Stay safe, stay warm, stay happy. Bye for now. I will see you this afternoon. Bye.